Yeah.
You need to see her from Friday to Sunday. She went from talking to not talking to not swallowing. You just see
Yeah.
The progression,
the
yeah.
progression.
It was less than a week.
Just rip your heart out, dude.
Yeah.
Hey, you see that. You know, hospice says, hey, it can be an hour or it can be a week.
How do you work with that?
I'm like,
Yeah.
but I mean, last Wednesday I got up. Tuesday night she was really loud. You know, I thought Tuesday night she'd passed it. I would sleep on the couch and she'd sleep on the bed there, right beside her. I'd hear this noise and I'm like, oh, you know, you hear these gasps. You're like, okay, that's it.
Yeah.
No, it's not it. And then, you know, they were doing morphine every hour, just, you know, giving her morphine with a syringe in her mouth, just drops, because she can't take it, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's just, so hospice came over about 12 o'clock and changed her. And she was just, she's never made much noise while they changed her, you know, and she was just screaming. I'm like, this is not good, you know. So I went for a walk, and I told you, I was like, not me today. You know, we're praying for it to be today. You know?
Yeah,
You're praying
yeah.
for the Lord to take her.
Yeah.
And then you're praying, don't take her, because we're not ready for her to go, you know. And it's kind of one of those, oh, man, come on. You know, you can't continue living like this.
Yeah.
And then, you know, we had dinner Wednesday night, and we're all just, you know, my brother-in-law and I are out cleaning the grill, and all of a sudden, Pam's and East goes, you guys may want to come in. You go in, we're standing around her, and she just, probably about 6:30, she passed.
Okay.
You know, it's kind of like,
Tim,
Yeah.
Tom,
you know, it's like, you know,
Tim, Tom, Jim.
which was, you know, we were thankful that she's in heaven now.
Yeah.
And she's a believer. She wanted to go a long time ago. I mean, just, you know, Jim and I were talking last night, the last year giving up her mobility, I mean, it was hard. But then going to the walker, you know, and then not being able to, you know, and then Friday was probably the worst. But they were home in July Friday. Because my brother-in-law and sister-in-law had to go down to, Johnny Jim knows this, went down to San Luis Obispo to a wedding that Pam had babysat this gal, practically her daughter, you know, for years, and she wanted Pam to do cookies, and so Pam's down there, and she goes, hey, Mike and Joe, you got Mom, right? Yeah, we got her, it's all good. So it got to the point where you'd have to pick her up and put her on the porta potty, right? So Friday morning, you know, it's like, you know, and then you lose your last bit. Was it privacy's not the word.
Dignity.
So it's chest to chest. I'm picking her up and I'm twisting her, I'm sitting there and she does her bit. I go in the other room, she do her business, and then I come back, pick her up, put her back in bed. Everything's right. So Friday morning, Friday around 1, and Friday around 3 o'clock, you know. Well, Friday night, Joe goes, hey, we need to wake her up like 9:30 to give her her meds and, you know, change her. I'm like, she's sound asleep. You know,
Yeah.
no, you don't wake asleep and bathe your head. She goes, we gotta wake her up. So we wake her up, and we gotta change. And she raises up, I pick her up. I said, okay, we're gonna twist like we did earlier today. And her legs wouldn't work. And I'm holding her, and she's pretty big, but she's double dead weight. So I'm holding her like this, you know, and I'm like, you know, and I haven't done anything in 6 months from a workout standpoint. So I'm holding her, and I'm like, Jill, you gotta help me, Jill. And Jill's trying to move the porta potty, and I'm holding her, man. I'm of course. I said, well, I'll just sit back on the bed. Well, the bed was too far away. I'm like, I'm the worst. We're gonna sit down. So we sat down on the floor. I'm like, now I'm gonna get her up.
Right. Yeah.
So the hospice goes, lay her down, you know, Jill's got hospice on the phone. So I lay her down, she goes, Dolores goes, I can't breathe. I'm like, crap. So I raise her up, and then she said, okay, I'm okay. So I'm like, well now what do we do?
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, well, maybe I can pick her up. Hospice goes, absolutely not. Don't try to pick her up. Call the fire department.
Oh, man.
So it's just me and Jill. I'm like, and my, you know, I just felt like crap. You know,
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah.
you have to kid me. So we called the fire department, and my mother-in-law. The only thing that kind of passed the time. My mother-in-law is an avid Dodger fan. She went to school with Don Drysdale, who was in his class. They were in class together. So thankfully,
I
the
loved
Dodgers
that
were
one.
playing, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I'm sitting there and I'm like, and it was a good game, back and forth, back and forth. And I'm like, so I kind of got her mind off of. So we're sitting there on the floor. Finally, we call the fire department. An hour later, they show up. You know, so now it's like 10:30. You know.
Oh, it took me an hour.
And they're only like 3 blocks down the road. you
They're
know.
cooking breakfast.
So they come in, 3 big guys, and they said, well, you should have a harness. I'm like, harness? Hospice should have given you a harness. I'm like,
Lifting belt, yeah.
I'm like, well, we ain't got no harness. I'm the harness. Right?
Yeah.
The harness didn't do very good.
Yeah.
So anyway, they picked her up, put her back in the, you know, she did her business, put her back to bed, and then hospice calls the next morning and goes, okay, no more going. We're done.
Okay.
She's gonna be, you know, then you
No more
go
what? No more what?
done getting out of bed.
Oh, okay, no more what?
You have to go to the bathroom and a diaper, right? So that is the other thing.
Oh, that's hard.
The last bit,
Yeah.
what little dignity you had,
Yeah,
you know?
That's it,
Yeah.
it's gone.
So my brother-in-law comes over, you know, he lost his wife like, I don't know, 5, 6 years ago, same thing with cancer, and, you know, and then Saturday morning, Dolores goes, Joe, I gotta go to the bathroom, I gotta get up to the bathroom.
Mhm.
Mom, you can't.
Mhm.
So it just crushes you, right?
Yeah.
Well, you gotta go. Well, I'm not going in the bed,
Mhm.
you know, and then you got,
Oh, man. That's tough.
so you have, then, you know, then she finally goes in, you know, I'm there, we have to change her.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
oh God, I was so gut wrenching, you know, I mean, I was like, you gotta be kidding me, you know, I was like,
Yeah.
this is so wrong, you know.
Yeah.
But we knew we dealt with it, you know,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
then her memory starts to go. So again, then hospice comes over Saturday afternoon, they change her again, and, you know, it's just going through, then she got to Sunday morning, you know, she couldn't really speak. And they said, she was like, I'm thirsty. Well, you can't give her water because she can't swallow, because she'll drown. So you're giving these little old bitty
Ice chips.
sponges on the end of the, like a stick, you know, and it's like, this is so hard, you know, and she's just, you know, she's just deteriorating right in front of you, and there ain't a freaking thing you can do about it, right?
Yeah.
You're just going, come on, Lord, just take her. Just
Yeah.
take her home, you
Yeah.
know. There just ain't no way to live. And then, so this goes on Saturday. And then nurse goes Saturday, she goes, okay. And it's just me and Jill and David, her brother, who's there a little bit. And she goes, nurse goes, well, if there's anybody that needs to get here, they need to get here soon. Because the time is nearing. Well, my sister-in-law was down at a wedding in Slow. I'm like, man, please don't die while she's down there. You know, because she has lived with my sister-in-law for 2 years. So Jill and I are sitting there just like, oh my gosh. And Jill gets on the phone with hospice. My brother-in-law goes, well, how come you don't have a lift?
You done?
My wife had a lift when she was, you know, hydraulic lift by the bed that would pick her up. So Jill gets in this rather heated discussion with hospice. How come you don't have a lift for my mom? You know, here we've been dealing with this for the last week. Well, we don't do that when they're at the internment. Well, what's the point? You know. So nurses, they need to get here. The family starts showing up Saturday night, and then Sunday, my sister-in-law and them got home like at, I don't know, 4 o'clock, you know, and everybody's saying their goodbyes and stuff, and she's just bad shape, you know. And then, so Monday rolls around, I think Monday's the day. She makes it through Monday, she makes it through Tuesday, and I'm like, that Morse the cat, she got like 9 lives, like, come on, you know. And then Wednesday that was it, Wednesday night when she passed. And then hospice, you know, after she passed, we called hospice, and this one was really cold, you know. They come in, so here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna wrap her in a sheet, and we're gonna put her in a plastic bag, and we're gonna haul her out. And dude, you're just sitting there watching it. It's just like, but you know, she's in heaven, but you see the body, and it's just like, oh my gosh, you know, you just.
It seems like an inappropriate finish, but.
It is, I mean, it's
Yeah.
just cold as cold.
Yeah.
You know, I'm just going, okay.
Yeah.
And then Thursday rolls around, you know, they come and get the bed, and, you know, my brother-in-law and I put the house back together, the furniture that they'd taken out of the room and stuff, and it's going through all this, trying to get the room that he had converted into like her living quarters back to like a normal guest bedroom, right? So you're going through all the jewelry, Jill was a mess, Pam was a mess, I was a mess, you know, we were just a train wreck.
Get some hugs, yeah, we can get some hugs in there.
Yeah, we did, so we got, but everything's done, they got funeral
This table's
set up.
too far away, man, but.
No, we
we're
got
right
everything
there
all
with it.
taken care of.
We're right
We
there
got
with
the
it.
funeral all set up, it's all, everything's already
Oh,
ready
good.
to go, but it's get, you know, so that's been my last 2 weeks, man. It's just been, Jill stayed there 2 weeks. I was there last Thursday through Wednesday, Thursday to Thursday. You know, it's just.
We've been praying for her since we started getting together.
I know, man.
3 or 4
It's been
years
like
ago.
forever. It's funny, Jill said last night, goes, you know, who would have thought that my mom, who was an absolute mess, what, a year ago, 2 years ago, would have outlived her dad, her mom, my dad. You know, my mom's like, it's just, so it's just weird, how everything happens, you know, it happens for a reason, right?
Yeah.
But, you know, you just hate to see somebody suffer. That's the only thing. We were just hoping she'd go to bed, go to sleep, and not wake up.
Yeah.
But to go through that suffering, and there ain't a freaking thing you can do about it. You give her, you know, it got to the point, it was every 30 minutes. Every 30 minutes we're giving her morphine. I'm like, dude, she's gotta be just out of it. And I don't know if it was her heart just didn't want to give out. I don't know, but it was pretty tough. So this week's better than last week. So I'm back, trying to get back to some normalcy, you know, and trying to get back to work, you know, because I had just basically, you know, shut down work, you know, and focused on helping Jill and just through this situation. But here we are, gentlemen.
Yeah.
Back at it.
I'm glad you're back.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm glad to be back, and I was telling Jim, I went out and did some balls the other day, and I'm like, you can tell I haven't hit balls in a while. You know, which is the club do you
Yeah.
use?
Not gonna make the Ryder Cup
That
anytime
ain't
soon.
making it right. They're not, that phone's not gonna ring. It's like, come on, guys. But anyway,
We'll get there.
Yeah, so.
Hey, let's get started on Galatians
Yep.
4:8 to 20. I'll open up in prayer and we'll read through it. Lord, thank you for this morning, God. Thank you for all the men that are here. It's great to see people's faces. And God, we're thankful that Mike's back with us, God, and just thankful for the ministry that you have for the time. And just pray for your presence, your Holy Spirit to be with us.
Amen.
So, we're going to talk about spiritual drift. And I thought that was a really good illustration about the ship. The ship just kind of rudderless ship just kind of casting out and not being grounded. So, So we're gonna read 4:8-20, and I wanted to break up into the 4 parts. Maybe we could split this up. If somebody could read verses 8 through 9, somebody else 10 and 11, somebody else 12-16, and then I'll read 17-20. Anybody got 8 to?
I'll do that.
Okay.
Want me to go?
Yes.
Yeah. Formerly, when you did not know God, you were enslaved to those that by nature are not gods. But now that you have come to know God, or rather to be known by God, how can you turn back again to the weak and worthless elementary principles of the world, whose slaves you want to be once more?
We've got 10 and 11.
Do it. You observe days and months and seasons and years. I'm afraid I may have labored over you in vain.
Brothers, I entreat you, become as I am, for I also have become as you are. You did me no wrong. You know it was because of bodily ailment that I preached the gospel to you at first.
Keep going to 6-16.
And though my condition was a trial to you, you did not scorn or despise me, but received me as an angel of God, as Christ Jesus. What then has become of your blessedness? For I testify to you that, if possible, you would have gouged out my eye and given them to me. Have I then become your enemy by telling you the truth?
I'm gonna switch to NIV from here because I just really struggle with ESV for the last part of it. So those people are zealous to win you over, but for no good. What they want is to alienate you from us so that you may have a zeal for them. It is fine to be zealous, provided the purpose is good, and to be so always, not just when I am with you. My dear children, for whom I am again in pains of childbirth until Christ is formed in you, how I wish I could be with you now and change my tone, because I am perplexed by you. I struggle with verse 17 and 18, trying to understand what it said in the ESV. So just to kind of bring us back. So this is Paul speaking to the Galatians, and he's really referring to them. They want to retreat back to Judaism, or bring elements of Judaism into kind of rinse and repeat. So as we trying to, Jason was talking about how do we make this relevant for our lives today, and so he had some questions that he talked a little bit about, and from verse 8 to 6, 8 to 9, you said being tempted to turn to that which enslaves you. And if you think back, what are some things that you are tempted to turn back to, or if there are any, to win God's approval? It's like the spiritual drift he's talking about, how you get so far and then pretty soon you're kind of drifting back or drifting away from the truth.
You mentioned that one of his things he had on the list was like daily Bible reading. Oh, God, do this. It's just because if you aren't Christian, you will do this.
Yeah.
Like, I missed you.
And in doing it, God has to be happy with me.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All right.
and the Bible and religion can be an idol. And for me, I'm very religious. I'm one of the most religious people. So you got to watch out for pastors or preachers that you like on the internet that haven't made a mistake in 9 months, and you've never seen them make a mistake. That could be dangerous for me, and God could get very jealous.
Yeah. Right. That's good.
And by His grace, He'll show me His mistakes, or even tell me His sins prophetically, which can help get your minds off of any idol or micro idol. And the Bible is a huge idol, especially for theologians.
Anyone else? Any other examples of things that from your background?
Our background has lots.
What's that?
Well, the church I grew up in was very legalistic Old Testament.
Yeah.
they had all those things, Bible before breakfast, Saturday Sabbath, they observed the 3 feasts a year, they did. It's like, oh, that calendar stuff, it's like, it's all there, Paul's talking about it, it's like, and it did become, like, more important than Christ, they forgot what the whole big deal was about.
I went to a Baptist church and I remember some of the deaconesses getting upset because the kids in the kids area were running around and playing and making a mess. And here you are, you just thankfully have kids in church to make a mess, but all they could do was grumble about them making the mess, you know? It's like,
Maybe not in the right role.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I grew up Catholic, and it doesn't, I don't find it anymore, I'm not aware of it happening to me anymore, but I remember like when I was first saved, it's like kind of drifting back to some of the legalistic things in the Catholic faith. And, you know, that was part of my heritage, who I was. And I just kind of be kind of like they were kind of doing here. I was saved by grace, but then you kind of drift back to, well, you know, I mean, when Judy and I were first married, I hadn't been saved very long, and we were living up in Reading and didn't find the church that we really liked. We started going, oh, we'll go to the Catholic church for a while. It's like, she wasn't Catholic, she was Presbyterian, but it's like, and I'm glad we didn't stay there, right? But we drifted back there because it was easy. It was easy for me, especially. It's easy for me to go back there because
Because you got a checklist, I mean, there's some things you can pass.
Yeah, but it's more, not so much the checklist, but it's more the rituals and the liturgy and.
Yeah, but that gets to be where, okay, I did it.
Yeah.
You know.
Oh, there's no doubt.
The back in Galatians 3, who bewitched you? The foolish Galatians. It's. I think that like the bewitched you part. It's like superstition, kind of a thing that I have to do this because if I don't.
What church did you grow up in, Dan?
Oh, it's a little thing called the Kingdom.
The Kingdom.
Yeah, the Kingdom.
There's only 144,000?
They had enough truth, you know.
Yeah.
They knew the
That's
real
right,
whatever.
that's
And it's,
Yeah.
They probably have their own art.
Mhm. How about you, Mike? You grew up in this deep south, not deep south, but south, Southern Baptist, right?
Southern Baptist, yeah. I mean, I've said it many times, you know, yeah, my dad was a choir leader. My aunt was the piano player. I mean, you were there Sunday morning, Sunday night, Wednesday night. You know, you'd have quarterly revivals, tent revivals, you know, in August. You know, it's 95 degrees, 90% humidity, no fans, people sweating like you're dying.
You know, and you got the preacher up there just going to town, you know. But that's the way it was.
Yeah.
And you went, you know, and but that's just the way it was. I mean, there was no other way, you know, and yeah. So that's just it was hard to find a church out here because there was nothing like that.
Yeah.
You know, and you know the preacher talking calmly to you.
Yeah, right.
Preacher what?
Calmly,
So
so
they were just talking, you know. And
Pound the pulpit, you know,
pulpit,
not-
pulpit pounders,
you know,
yeah.
not
Get their
screaming
Bible up there.
and, you know, and that, I was like, okay, it's like, when's he gonna start preaching?
Yeah.
And, yeah, that was just the way of life.
Don't smoke, drink, dance, or chew, or go out with those.
Play
who do.
cards.
Well, you know, you don't, but they did. They did.
Yeah.
I mean, in our, you told me to get that,
Can't go to movies, you know.
no drink, there was, and that, we were in a dry town, so there was no alcohol on Sundays, you couldn't buy beer on Sundays, and, you know, you had to go to a liquor store in the city. You had to go to Knoxville to buy liquor if you wanted to buy liquor, you know. And I grew up, there was no wine in the grocery stores, you know, it was like,
I grew up in Davis, and we were like that too.
you know, this is like, that's just the way it was, and I come out here like, there's beer in the Safeway, you know, it's like, little different, but yeah.
We used to drive, my parents used to drive to Woodland to buy. Not anymore. All right, so verse 10, it says, you observe days and months and seasons and years. I'm afraid I've labored over you in vain. And Jason's kind of theme of this is misplaced hope and cultural pressure. And this kind of get back to what Dan had mentioned. What is a spiritual to-do list that can lead to becoming a source of pressure instead of grace? Spiritual to-do list, and he kind of referred to like festivals and rituals and stuff that they're drifting back to.
Oh, the Jewish
tradition.
calendar.
Yeah, exactly, the Jewish calendar.
It's kind of like the same vibe as the last one, you know, for me.
Yeah. So what's on your spiritual to-do list today, Guy?
Get up really early.
Coming out with
Come to a men's group.
Well played.
Pretty successful so far.
Yeah.
Don't know.
Yeah, so when we're not looking, then what are you doing, bud?
That's awesome.
Some of the things he had listed up on the screen was prayer with a check mark, Bible study, work, help others, be patient, give thanks, be joyful. I can see having like prayer or a Bible study or going to work. I can't imagine having giving thanks and being joyful on a checklist.
Not being a check.
It's a good checklist. You know, a lot of Christians think grace is unmerited favor, but that's in the Greek only about 8% of the time. 92% of the time, it's divine influence. So grace is supposed to infuse us. It's not supposed to just be a one-way thing. So prayer is a good thing that we have to do, and our salvation depends on prayer.
And I
So
think it was that all of the things were good things, but they can become our source of.
I don't believe in prayerolatry at all. So take that off the list.
You don't believe in what?
Prayerolatry, the idolization of prayer, I don't believe in that at all. So first greatest commandment says give God all of our mind, all of our soul, all of our strength. Heart, soul, mind, and strength. All of our heart, soul, mind, and strength. So pray continuously without end. Hold every thought captive to obedience to Christ. It's a misunderstanding of Paul to say that prayer is involved in that at all.
Yeah, I think it's all about intention, right? I mean, if your intention isn't because you really care about people or about God, your intention is to look good, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's what, yeah. If you're doing these things because you're trying to get status symbol, approval, yeah. I think a lot of people, they're busy nowadays. People say busyness is a new status symbol. Oh, I'm just so busy all the time, so busy all the time. It's like, you know, it's as if I'm important or if I'm, you know, being useful in this and that. But I think, what is your real intention? Is your intention because you're busy because you care about what's going on, you care about people, or are you busy because you're trying to look like you're important or you're successful? And I think those are very different motivations. So, yeah, I think it all comes down to what is your real intention.
And who's your audience, right? Because you could be being busy for all y'all, or I could be, you know, busy for him, and it's just the same misplacement.
Yeah.
Let's say.
Yeah, you can be busy serving at church 5 days a week and be neglecting the most important thing.
Yeah, you can be busy. I mean, somebody on YouTube recently said, what's the difference between, like she said, you know, if I were to give $200 to a homeless person, if I really cared or not, what's the difference? The person still gets $200. And I said to her, like, giving someone money isn't always the best thing to do for somebody. You know, if you really cared about that person, maybe you encourage them to, you know, get a job or get off drugs or improve their lives, you know. But I think just doing things because it makes you feel good isn't always the right decision. I'm not saying you shouldn't ever give money to people, but what is your intention?
Luke, it says in Luke, if you have 2 coats, give it to the one who has 0. There's no verse in the Bible that says that you shouldn't give to someone if you don't think they're going to spend the money optimally. They're not going to spend it optimally. So, he who shuts his ears to the poor will to crowd not be answered. So just putting that out there.
I have given money to people before, and I'm not always sure if I did the right
I'm just
thing.
playing angel's advocate.
Yeah. I think
I've done the same.
Absolutely. I don't know if it's always clear whether this idea of dependency, this idea of people just taking things for granted after a while. I think in the homeless problem right now, there's a lot of people who are, they've gotten used to just taking, and they don't know how to fend for themselves as much.
Well, they don't have any skills. The minimum wage is too high. They can't find a job. They're in a tough spot. Just help them out, okay? Please,
That's
just
not what he
please.
says. That's not what he's saying.
Okay. I'm just saying.
So don't be
No.
judgmental.
I've had homeless people live with me before. I've helped. There's this one guy.
Yeah.
He'd never had a job. He was on the streets. He was in jail. He was on drugs. Eventually, I said, "You got to go look for a job. You know, keep on trying." So he's been working almost 5 years at Lucky's now in the meat department.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's a success. He's got his own place. He's renting a room. So his whole life, he never finished high school. You know, his whole life he never worked before, and now he is because I encouraged him. You know, I'm not saying I did all the work. I said, hey, you can get a job. Just keep trying. If one person rejects you, keep trying. So now it's almost his 5-year anniversary at Lucky's, and so you know, I think people don't have, they don't always have the right encouragement to say, hey, you can do it.
Yeah.
You know, you're not just a useless person. You're not a worthless person. You're not useless. You can do something, whether it's working at Lucky's or pushing shopping carts or whatever. You can do something, you know. So
The way you view yourself will affect every decision you make in your life.
yeah, and the way other people, if other people think, oh, you're just a useless person, I'll just give you money for the rest of your life. It's not always healthy for the person to think that way.
I always kind of wait for a feeling of maybe almost God kind of speaking to me, you know, that He has blessed me. He's blessed me richly. He's provided for me, and I realize that I guess I kind of look at this person as when they came out of the womb, they didn't have their hands up and saying, this is the way I want to live my life, you know? And it just, I feel encouraged to help them. But I understand what you're saying too. You want to say, you know, the Lord loves you and the Lord's got, but sometimes you just don't have that opportunity. And there is a fine line, you know. I see a lot of people today that'll jump in the parking lot coming out of Ace Hardware and all of a sudden, oh great, you know, they're waiting for people, you know, and that kind of turns me off, you know. But there are truly people that are just, I visit my daughter in Stockton, let me tell you, man, they're all over the place.
Yeah.
And, you know, you just look at their lives, they're just wrecked, you know, and to go in, sometimes my wife and I'll go into McDonald's and buy them, you know, and just give something,
I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
But it's hard, you have to, there's gotta be discernment, so I kind of feel like the Lord speaks to me a little bit in my spirit and says, hey, you know, help them out here, you know, because I've given you so much, you know, and it's God's money. So anyway, that's kind of how I deal with that situation. Whether it's right or wrong all the time, I don't know. But
Yeah, it's not always clear. But I think ultimately people have a sense of dignity. When you're working, when you feel good about yourself, there is a sense of dignity. Like, hey, I'm not just always relying on other people.
yeah, absolutely.
And
The goal is to try to help them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And a lot of times these people who are relying, they're resentful, they're bitter, like, why isn't the government giving more? Why aren't people giving more? It's like, and there's always a sense of entitlement, like the people should be helping me more. It's like, well, you can actually do things on your own too.
Yeah.
You know? And so anyway,
Verse 12 says, brothers, I entreat you, because become as I am, for I also have become as you are. You did me no wrong. You know, it was because of bodily ailment that I preached the gospel to you at first. And though my condition was a trial to you, you did not scorn and despise me, but received me as an angel of God, as Christ Jesus. What then has become of your blessedness? For I testify to you that if possible, you would have gouged your eyes out and given them to me. For have I then become your enemy by telling you the truth? And then Jason's kind of theme with this is relational breakdown, confusion concerning the truth. So Paul's speaking truth to these guys, right? They were totally drifted back to, they loved him and then they alienated him. And I gotta, yeah.
And we all struggle with that in some way, shape, or form in just our everyday living, you know?
Right.
The world pulling us away from Christ, and there's just so many distractions in life, you know? So, I mean, even as close as we try to stay, it's still a fight every day. It's a very forceful path to stay focused on Christ.
Yeah.
And you can see how newcomers in Christ is a struggle, you know? I mean, they're not as grounded, you know, and it's hard. Sometimes I don't feel like I'm as grounded as I should be, you know?
Do you have someone in mind to speak truth to, or do you need to be spoken truth to yourself?
See, I like how you write these questions, Jim, so you don't have to answer them.
That's why, yeah, that's
No,
why
you know,
asked it. Yeah,
I was, yeah, I want to know. No, I was, you know, I was, as you were talking, Craig, I was thinking, man, if I was Paul, I'd probably say, dude, I'm done with you guys. You know what? I'm done.
Yeah.
I just don't have, I just really admire that, and it's hard to speak truth to somebody, because not everything is within the church is a salvation issue. A lot of it's opinion, a lot of it's doctrine that could go either way, but people like take a stand, and that really pains me.
It's truth and love. We have to speak truth and love, right? You know, so it's one thing to, you have to communicate to your brother, you know, what's right, but it has to be palatable at some level. I mean, it can't be offensive, like, you're a jerk because you don't know this, or you're a jerk because you've been behaving like this, or, you know, people just shut down.
You say you're a jerk, you lost them, right?
Yeah, any version of it, right?
Yeah.
You know, and that could be in your tone of voice, it could be in just your rhetorical questions. Isn't it obvious that you're not? It's like, well, I guess it wasn't obvious to me.
In that case, you're the jerk. Jerks for Jesus, they call them.
Yeah, exactly.
I think sometimes people equate to, you know, love being like, if you love me, you'll make me feel good, right? And there's this thing that whereas I think, you know, if you really love someone, you know, I don't know. I mean, I think a lot of people, that's what they want to do. They want someone that makes them feel good. But unfortunately, if someone's making you feel good all the time, there may be an element of either flattery or falsehood, or just. And so I think, in my opinion, love means you love someone, you cherish them so much that even if they don't make you feel good, you still care about them, you still cherish them. Sort of Job, where, like, you know, Satan said, Job doesn't really love you. He just loves you because you're making him feel good. You give him all this stuff, give him all this wealth and all this prosperity. Once you cut him off, you'll see him curse you because he's just using you. He's just playing the system. Regardless, he's tried out. Let's see if he curses God or not. And so God cuts him off, he takes away all his blessings. Job is frustrated, but he never curses God. He's confused. He wants an answer. And so I think this idea of what love is in that context is you love someone, you cherish somebody so much that even if things don't go well, your marriage or your brotherhood or whatever, even if someone doesn't always make you feel good, you still cherish the relationship enough, you still cherish the person and say, hey, I'm going to keep going. I'm going to fix this relationship. I'm gonna fix it. But nowadays, people are like, well, if it doesn't make me feel good, I'm calling it quits. There's no point in continuing. You know, it's just disposable.
What you got over there? You got something really, you.
Oh, no.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say
No,
something.
I was just spacing out, sorry.
I mean, you think of all the people, like, is anybody's attended a church for any length of time, the people that come and go.
Yeah.
And then, and then if you find out why they can't, why they got, right? New people come and replace them, right? And so you kind of lose track. All of a sudden you run into somebody like, I haven't seen you for 10 years, you know? But there's other people that are closer to you that leave the church and go somewhere else, or leave the church, and they were offended by something said on the pulpit.
Right.
And it's hard, for me, it's hard to confront them. I don't want to confront them, but to bring it up to them and reason it with them. So, I can think of lots of people that have left for different doctrinal reasons. People that have left because they were offended by something that was said. It's like, I'm not one to, I'm not really good at addressing other people.
So my algorithm has shown me this meme that's out there. You know, like this, I think it's Trevor Noah. Do you know that he's over?
Oh,
yeah.
And he's got this thing, nice versus kind. Didn't you guys seen this?
Yeah.
Very
Oh,
interesting. Actually.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
He took over for Jon Stewart on the Daily Show. He's a comedian from South Africa, and you know, well spoken, and he was distinguishing between nice and kind, right? You know, and like niceness. You know, if somebody's got a little smudge or their zippers down. Niceness is, you know, don't say anything. Don't try to make them feel uncomfortable, right? Kindness is, hey, your zipper's down, right? Yeah, but you have to do it, of course, with love, right? You know, not like
Laugh at
you can't exactly.
Embarrassing, yeah.
But this notion of cloaking unkindness in niceness is fascinating to me. Just to recognize how easy it is to do, because if I'm outwardly nice, you know, I'm speaking softly and kindly and saying good things, but I'm, you know, you're walking around with your zipper down, well then I haven't really done any favors for you.
Like a book that I read called, I think, No More Mr. Nice Guy, but it was nice guy versus good guy. Same concept of covering over.
I think maybe in Chinese culture, I know my dad used to tell me, you know, suffering is good. There's this, at 12 years old, he told me, at 12 years old, he said, the literal term in Chinese is either you eat bitterness first and sweet later, or you eat sweetness first and bitterness later. What he meant is, when you're in school now, you better learn how to either suffer now, in other words, study, do the right thing, and then later on in life, you'll reap the rewards of that. Or you can have fun and goof off and whatever, and then later on, you're going to suffer with bad choices and bad behavior. And so I think in Chinese culture, there is this idea of suffering is good. There's a strength, there's a quality of endurance, and I think right now here in America, maybe suffering is not seen as good. People think, I don't want suffering at all.
Yeah.
Give me drugs, give me alcohol, do whatever I can to not suffer and feel anything, so I can just be comfortable and be safe and be calm. And so I think this idea of suffering becomes such an awful state. You know, even exercise. I don't want to exercise with too much suffering. It's like, well, it's actually really good for you. You know? So I think, you know, there's a quality now that I find challenging, that even there are verses in the Bible where Jesus is like, you know, oh, are you so dull? He talks to Peter, and he's like, wow, Jesus is so mean to Peter, you know. And where there's verses, oh, are you foolish Galatians? How could you think this way? And oh wow, he's so offensive. It's like, I think in the old days people wouldn't have thought it was that offensive. It was just like, hey, you know, you did this, and it wasn't seen as a bad thing. But now it's like, oh my gosh, it's so that's so hurtful.
A friend can say that to you, right?
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, we still have no pain, no gain, right? That's an idiom for us. So I think we get it. But we have to have it as a sing-song, no pain, no gain, because we want to put it out of our mind.
Yeah.
You know, so we'd rather just have the gain with no pain.
Yeah.
I want to say this: whoever rebukes a person will, in the end, gain favor rather than one who has a flattering tongue. Proverbs 20:23 and Proverbs 27:5 says, "Secret love is good; open rebuke is better." So, you guys were right about all that stuff. Just want to say that. Very biblical. Use righteous judgment. John 7:24, 1 Corinthians 6:3. We're going to be judging angels. Might as well judge everything on earth.
That old saying, a friend will stab you in the front. Okay.
That's so good.
That's awesome.
It's interesting anything that lives, if there isn't a pressure against it, it doesn't grow and mature properly. You think about a plant, you think about pruning,
Yeah.
you think about all these things. There's a pressure that's put against something that causes to grow.
Yeah.
And so while it's not comfortable to have that, but it can't all just be,
Yeah.
you've got all the, no pressure or no anything, because without that pressure, you're just going to be all over the place.
Yeah, there was this one rabbi who said, look at how lobsters grow. Lobsters, they're in a shell.
Yeah.
The only way they grow is they come out of their shell,
Yeah.
and eventually they come out in mold or whatever. But the precipice for that coming out is discomfort. They're uncomfortable, so they're constantly trying to get out of their shell. Once they get out, they grow again. But now, what do we do as a society now? If you're just uncomfortable, do this, do that. We numb discomfort. We do all these things to make discomfort go away, and yet these are perhaps opportunities for us to grow as people, to overcome these challenges. And I've been trying to embrace more discomfort in my life too, and just exercising, taking out sugar, been off medication. That was hard, and my life I think is actually getting better, and getting healthier. Even though sometimes, it is uncomfortable, but in the old days, I think people were adjusted to that better. Nowadays, it's like we have all these different things we can do. Let's not make you uncomfortable. Let's do this, do this, do this.
I think that's so true though, Tom, is that my biggest periods of growth are certainly when God is pushing me.
Mhm.
There's no doubt, that growth just doesn't come when everything is just,
Yep, easy peasy.
and it's like, what do you want me to learn out of this, Lord? And so my biggest periods are when I'm having to exercise my faith and trust in God. And I think that's just a foundation of everything we do, whether you know God or not. Is that the successful people are the ones that stay in and they work hard. And I think that's just kind of the essence of our walk with Christ, is having that faith and trusting in those hard periods.
It's just hard to do it with a smile.
Yeah.
Consider it pure joy.
Yeah. That's where
that has to
the
be in the
rubber
Bible,
really
because
meets the
otherwise I
road.
wouldn't think it.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to consider.
It's it's like the drift with the ship, right? There has to be the rudder's got to be, the engine's got to be running, and the rudder's got to be against whatever current, whatever wind, whatever is doing to stay on target. And I think Paul's illustration of running that race, you focus on the goal, right? Well, if you don't have that goal in front of you,
Yeah.
right, then where are you going? I mean, where are they going to go on a football field if there's no goal line,
Yeah.
right?
So you're just gonna drift. Yeah.
Yeah, the ones who succeed, I think, are the ones who are willing to endure the discomfort, and even, if you look at the culture right now, LGBT has gotten pretty far. Like 30, 40 years ago, it was completely nonsensical, gay marriage and that. But those people, they were willing to face people and say, hey, we're going to do what we need to do. We're going to bring this uncomfortable topic to limelight. And now it's like a lot of people are supportive of gay marriage. I'm not supporting that. What I'm saying is they were willing to be uncomfortable. They were willing to confront. They were willing to, and I think a lot of us, it's like we don't want to be uncomfortable, so we just kind of avoid it. We just kind of let it go. And in the process, I think our spiritual strength is not as strong as it could be.
Well, our bodies are made for that, from physically, demanding. When you say the physical part about working out, and you don't want to do that, but the muscles do increase
They
or do
respond.
get better,
Absolutely,
it's
yeah.
gotta be broke
Yeah,
down. And
yeah.
a lot of times in the massage, I mean, you don't want pain, but you need a little discomfort to break down some of that tissue, to
Yeah.
kind of break it in. So if we're feeling it, I think your lobster thing was right, right on
It's
that.
true, I think it's true.
Because we need, if you're not getting into that, the actual trigger
Breaking
point,
that tissue
the
down
tissue
there,
that,
yeah.
and get the flow going, get it and wash it out, you get clean, and
Yeah.
but the whole time you go, I can stay in bed, I don't need that kind of work, or I'm stretching and go, okay, that's far enough, I can resist it really quick, and I go, okay, I'll back up. No, you gotta get really into where it's that little bit of, okay, breathe a little more, and
Yeah.
then.
Yeah.
You notice the lobster never goes and finds a bigger shell and moves into it, right?
Yeah.
The change comes from the inside first.
Mm.
Whereas in our culture, in our society, we think the outside is gonna change.
Yeah.
Well, it's 7:16 a.m. right now, which says, "By their fruits you shall know them." Matthew 7:16. So, I rebuke you, openly rebuke you. So, a friend stabs you in the front. So, yeah,
But yeah, I mean, I think.
it's about what happens on the outside that matters.
We think everyone else needs to change for us so that we can be, and it's something I worry about. The level of progress in our culture, and then also with younger people too, there's this, I see this less and less, everyone wants to stay indoors now, they don't want to go outside, everyone wants to, not get their feelings hurt by, and it's something I worry about, like, what's going on? This is not how it used to be. And I'm not that old, but I can see that with younger people, it's like, wow, they're a lot more maybe timid.
I don't know, a lot of the younger people I know in this church are go-getters. They really are, a lot of them.
Here,
I'm-
yes.
Yeah, I think that's the
well,
exception.
but my,
Yeah.
I know
Yeah.
people that are unchurched that are,
Yeah.
It's a different.
yeah. Hey, good discussion today. I do want to get to prayer requests. We have a lot of people, so I want to make sure we get around. And this is, as far as like coming up with like discussion questions from Galatians is a little challenging. That something's relevant for us today, because a lot of the Galatians is, I don't want to say it's repetitive, but it's a lot of this is the same thing, right? You're returning to Judaism, and it just kind of builds a little bit more in each one. So, trying to work my best through it. So, but if anybody wants to help out, like coming up with good questions from Sunday, it'd be great. I'd love to have it. So.
Yeah, it's true. It's he's like a dog with a bone in this
Yeah,
book.
exactly.
Just- I mean, I was guilty of opening up the outline. I scanned the whole outline as Jason was just starting on Sunday. I'm like, the same old thing,
Yeah.
And I'm gonna do my own thing while he's talking. I tracked him the whole time.
Yeah.
And I pulled out some good nuggets, some of which we've talked about today.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like we're talking about approaching that person who's, and you mentioned, I just give up on these people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But man, he just won't let it go. And it must be important because he keeps driving the same points home.
Yeah. So we have a lot of people. Let's go around. We have about a little over 10 minutes. Let's go around and do prayer requests. Maybe we just do like one prayer request, kind of a lightning round. Something we could pray for. Lightning round.
All right,
You're on the Budweiser hot seat, my friend. Let's go.
I'll say Ingrid's foot healing from the sprained ankle.
How'd you sprain it?
In a hurry, ran inside from the rain onto the nice slippery entry floor.
Oh, went down?
Yeah.
Ouch.
Yeah, her cousin said, it looked like you were sliding in the second.
Great. That's a friend. How are you, guy?
6 kids, 6 stories.
Yeah.
I know I mentioned earlier when I came, a guy, Jimmy Ross, he was the guy that went through the cancer process and he's coming. So praise that, he had the stage 4 and it's second time, and then is having a different cancer that's another stage 4, and then that's in remission, and it brought him really back to church. And his brother got him to go. I invited him to come today, but of course he's not here. But at least that he maintains that, because he kind of broke into realizing because he was going through his wife left him, and all those things because he lost his libido, and so he needs a group of guys to come around.
It's tough, yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I mean, in Reader's Digest version.
Is he local?
Yeah, he's
Local?
San Ramon, and he really doesn't have a church. He kind of went to a couple, and then his brother got him in. He said, "Hey, Anyway, we saw him Saturday, and he came in. Anyway, he opened up that to me, and so a lot of times I'm just going that because all right, the Lord saved me or something, and I have, but he needs, come on board.
It's a praise. It's a praise that he's great.
Where do I
Great.
start? Like I had mentioned before, both my kids, Josh and Jenny, they're both struggling both with their marriages, and they're both very strong Christians, and I just ask for guidance and discernment that they will make the proper decisions going forward in what they're dealing with, and for me, I've been just dealing with a lot of anger and fear lately, and I just ask that God will put a spirit of calmness in me and continue to encourage me.
My brother Justin. That's it. My brother Justin. He's gonna be a deep end. There's out of the pool, shallow end, deep end. And a lot of Christians get to the deep end through the shallow end, but Justin, he's gonna jump out of the pool into the deep end. So he's gonna be a super Christian, but low quantity. But he'll start his journey around whatever 40, 45, 50. But he'll be very genuine and authentic, unlike most Christians, which is good. But you got to pray for that jump, because if he never jumps, then he's going to be out of the pool, and then that's what hellfire is, out of the pool. So just pray for him for that jump, because he's planning on it, but the devil has his own plans too, so it's a big war for his soul. And I need to pray for him more myself, but different variety of prayers would be nice. Thank you.
Justin? Is his name?
No, that's
Justin Smythe, yeah.
his brother.
Yeah.
And along that line, he just got back. He's confused about what work, and so he got rid of the one job. He wants to live in Hawaii. Of course, been there for the 3 months. Now he's here, and he's going to be easily distracted back into that. Whereas he was on a mission, on a goal. He had that stuff going and work. So he's pulling and tugging both all the way. So. What do you call it? What was the word you used? It was really discernment.
Discernment.
Yeah, there you go. Give him some direction. Good point, Eric. Good job.
What are you talking, Tim?
I'm starting a volunteer position at a school today in San Leandro for at-risk kids. Just an hour a week doing a fitness club, and also just trying to weave in some life lessons. I can't speak the name of Jesus because they take state funds, but I just want to be a good influence on these kids, and like we're talking about, challenge them in more ways than one.
That's been a while you've been working on that, huh?
Yeah, so it starts today, just for the next 10 weeks,
And-
see how it goes.
And just so you know, you could still speak Jesus and just break the rules. That's a good time to break the rules.
I could do that, and I wouldn't be invited back next week.
And that's so choose that bullet wisely.
I'm hoping to live by example first, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, just
Is that around here somewhere, Tim? or-
In San Leandro.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
just wait for that day. I'm never gonna come back anyway. Fire the bullet then.
On your last day, you could talk
On your last day.
Yeah.
That's exciting, Tim.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah.
We've been talking about that for a while. And
Yeah.
When you hear about it,
Okay.
maybe
Yeah.
share it
Yeah.
with the group.
For
and
sure.
How it went.
Yeah.
That's today you start?
Yeah. 12:15. Yeah.
Awesome. Tony?
Just praise for some good health results I got from my doctor. Last few weeks I did an echocardiogram and also ran some blood tests yesterday. results were good, so. That's about it.
Awesome. All that healthy living.
Yeah, it was working. I mean, nobody knows, of course, but the exercise. And
It does work, huh?
It does actually, yeah. I know the cholesterol levels, wow, it's lower than it used to be. This is good.
It's pretty cool, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's actually working.
Something tangible, you know?
Yeah, to actually be able to see it.
Yeah.
Nice.
Mike,
Getting back to work, getting back to some kind of normalcy
Yeah.
with our life, you know, since it, with the change here recently.
Yeah.
Tom.
Two quick ones. One is Grace had an MRI. She just had migraines and also been seeing an endocrinologist for just other things. And they found a couple white lesions on the MRI that probably are from having migraines, but we don't know. So just prayer about what that means. I don't know if they're like, I'll say earth shattering, but they weren't there on the last MRI. That was about a year and a half ago. So it's just, there's a lot of concern.
Is it brain lesions? Or?
Yeah, little, yeah, just white patches that are there. But again, what does that mean and what that's from?
This is your wife, Tom?
Daughter,
Okay.
23. Yeah, she's 23. So that's one. And then the second one is this, this topic of drift. Just prayer for focus. I'm really frustrated with a lot of things, and I think part of that frustration is lack of focus or staying focused. So, just prayer.
For me, would be our one and only grandchild James he's 21 months, 22 months just about, and he's been really slow to talk. And he says very, very few words, but he is starting to talk a little bit more. It seems like, and making more verbal, just as far as like forming words and his name's James.
James.
Yeah.
Just
It's more common than you think.
What's that?
Matthew was.
You can't shut that kid up now.
No.
Was he really?
Yeah.
But Einstein was slow to talk too.
Yeah, it was 4 before he started talking.
Yeah.
We'll do praying.
All right. I'm glad everybody's here. It's a good crowd today, right? Yeah. Excited for what the day brings.
Yeah.
Who's going to pray us out? You would like to?
I will. Heavenly Father, just thank you that we have a fairly full table. Lord, just be with our brothers that aren't here. Just take your hands upon them. And Father, as we head out from here, that the illustration of the ship and the rudder and drifting, Lord, and wherever that drift is showing up for us, Lord, I pray that you would just keep us mindful, and Lord, that we would be attuned to your Holy Spirit for prompting, for direction, for boldness when to speak, Lord, for direction. Lord, as we go through each and every day, and whether we're just, chillaxing to show up with the guys in the morning and has nothing else to do for the day, or Lord, we've got jobs and things to influence, but Lord, we would just see an opportunity to be that salt and light to make a difference, Lord, and to bless others, Lord, and as you've blessed us. Thank you for each one that's here, and just pray for the rest of our day in Jesus' name.
Amen.
Nice.